We've got a little bit of time for some Q&A. I know there's going to be some questions coming up here. We've got some staff here with mics. I'm going to throw the first one out while they get a mic over to you folks. All of you talked about the fact that we need to really work on educating the customer, and that customer could either be a fleet customer or might eventually be here, that retail marketplace. What is it we can do as an industry to work more effectively with your dealer and sales and service channels to really get that word out and educate those dealers to be ready to answer the questions that come to them from customers? Because we know that those kinds of questions are coming. What can we do? How can we work more effectively with each other? Dick, I'm going to start with you with that question in terms, I know you're not on the marketing side, but the kinds of things we can do in that general area.
Well, I've got to believe that people learn about things from what they, advertising campaigns and things like that. I don't see the push out there for natural gas and alternative fuels that I see with the fight between a Galaxy S3 and an iPhone, okay? And so the customers are just not aware of, if that same thing was presented with the gasoline people tired of paying $4 a gallon and with the natural gas customer zipping up and paying his $1.25 or his $2 a gallon, we need to let the general public know. And by the way, the general public are the people that are commercial vehicle operators. They may drive their pickup truck home, okay, but they probably got a passenger car at home as well. And the plumber, the electrical contractor, all these people are general public, and they watch television and they do these things. I just don't think the awareness is out there yet. So I think we need to figure out how we get a campaign that lets people know what's available. That's why we did that brochure, because it got to the point where it can't be handled by call Dick, okay? Dick, what's available? And that's what was happening at Ford. The dealers and the people were calling me, and that we recognized we needed something out there, so we did a brochure. I think the industry needs to do that as well.
Okay. Dick, Kauling?
Echo some of the same thoughts. Line of defense is often about getting the information out to the right people through the right method of communication. It isn't necessarily about calling the engineering community to know what's in the product plan, what's in the showroom. Right. So part of it is really just connecting the dots. I think we have information from the product point of view in terms of the technology that's in there, and sometimes it's a matter of just pointing our own dealers to the information that we have on our own websites. I think this viral communication, a different method, says we sometimes put the information out, and we need more than one way to remind people that it's out there, and it's not necessarily a serial communication channel. It can be done in parallel. I also see that part of educating our dealers, who are obviously first line of opportunity to present the technology to the customer, is also providing some fundamental information about how to prepare their dealerships, how to prepare their technicians to not only what is offered, from an OEM point of view in terms of service training and tools, but some of the foundational work that they may need to think about relative to preparing their dealerships from a local regulatory point of view and authorities having jurisdiction as it comes to working with that. And I think part of it is also teach a friend, the first adopters. I think this industry has the ability to kind of point dealers that may not be as familiar to dealers that are in the area to help cross-train, cross-expose, just some things. Anything to multi-branch the communication, I think, would be helpful.
So taking some of the more successful dealers who are doing this, maybe even helping them educate each other.
Educate, yeah.
Interesting point.
Their successes help others gain confidence that the success is possible.
Reg, your team's just jumped into it here.
Ditto. Those are all fine points, and I'll emphasize that the fact that we're sitting in the same room together, I think this community needs to be seen as together. We can't have the folks who are getting the gas out of the ground, then the folks who are moving around, and the folks who are selling it, and the vehicle manufacturers trying to sell vehicles, and try to think we're going to be the one piece of communication that's necessary. We need to have an integrated message, and the call this morning for that kind of activity, I think, is great. That's what I would like to see us participate in, because that's not competitive amongst us. We need that information. And if the community started seeing the whole natural gas infrastructure development and vehicle deployment thing is working in unison, and that we can approach customers and say, we have the integrated package, we can give you the value that you want out of the product.
So I'm hearing communications that grows the pie. You all figure out how to fight over which slice you get, but we all need to be growing that pie together and getting that common message out there. We've got some questions down here. We'll start with Rich. I know there's a couple of mics floating.
I have two. One is a short one for Reg. You showed a 2012 Chrysler sedan demo, and you skipped by that very quickly without mentioning it. You want to comment on that?
Yeah, that is a program. There is Drive Natural Gas, I believe might be the name of the program, and we're contributing to that program as a means of getting it out to the market. But the goal is to get to the market, increase awareness as to natural gas can power your vehicle, and our contribution to that effort is an upfit 300, and we could look at that as being a product. Well, think about it. We have the 5.7-liter engine. Fundamentally, it's the same engine in the truck that we could put in the car, so we could get into that market quickly if the market says we want it. So that's we're giving that a chance to be on this tour that's going to go around the country.
And how many demos are you going to have?
Just the one.
Oh, just the one. Okay.
I think there's a total of 5 altogether.
All right. Here's a general question for all three of you. The last time that you guys were in the NGV space, one of the characteristics of the OEM process was dealers that really didn't pay that much attention to it. Right. And in fact, many dealers would try desperately to convince somebody not to buy a natural gas vehicle. How has that changed now, and what are you doing to incentivize the dealers to look at your natural gas products or to sell them?
Well, I think that just if I jump in to incentivize is they can make money. If the customer comes in and wants to buy the vehicle, then they have the vehicle sale and the margin that brings, plus the service business under warranty period. That's what drives dealers. So making that, so we have trained our dealers. That was the point of this. We trained our dealers to be knowledgeable of natural gas, to be knowledgeable of this product, and their goal is to sell these products. So that the incentive is the same as any other product online. Give them something they can sell profitably, give customers something that they see value proposition they wish to buy.
If we're certainly driving people to those dealerships, we want them to be able to respond to that so they can take advantage of that sale and to close it. Yes. Dick, you want to comment?
I think part of it is sometimes the communication gets ahead of, one stream of communication gets ahead of another stream of communication. So certainly what I see different now is that some of our dealers are fundamentally more aware about the potential of natural gas through acts of the industry. The fundamental messaging that there is more of it around and it's in your backyard and you need to be more aware of its potential for multiple uses, including transportation. So I think that's created an awareness level to our dealer community, the general community, that didn't exist the previous cycle, not from my perspective. Now, I had my head down doing engineering, so I didn't really have time to read about what everybody was saying in public domain. But I do see that as a fundamental awareness factor that wasn't there the first go-around. So that's great. The second piece then is where is their awareness in the dealer's body today? Well, it's those dealers that probably were part of the first experience or are currently supporting the vehicles we have in the market today that have been in the market for quite some time and doing tours of duty. So I think those pockets of dealers are aware and are probably more logically aware of the products that we're bringing to market now. But how do we get that message across to the broader dealers? Part of our strategy is, again, internal education and training. Our fleet account executives who kind of work with our fleets and the key dealers that process those vehicles are getting educated, have been educated on the products we offer and the method by which we're supporting the product with training, tools, support that distance. It's that first wave. The next wave really is about how do we expand that to the dealers who may not be that first market opportunity, the larger fleets. Now it's the smaller fleets. So I think it's just a process of time. Certainly our reaction is we're getting a lot more interest on the retail side of our pickup truck, which is kind of surprising and very encouraging for us all, I think. So I think it's just a bit of timing right now where we just can't do it all at the same time. We see it as a priority, but I think we've done a good job in at least the major dealers, the major areas, to support what we see as our major fleet accounts.
And it sounds like we're going to have to do as much as we can to really bring
Bridge
all
the
the
gap.
rest of them up to it so they can.
Yeah.
And Dick, let's close with you on that, and then we're going to have one very short question after that, which I think has already been pegged here.
I think
Yes,
there's
Dick.
just a couple things. One thing we have to do, and we all have done it in the past. We had vehicles from the 90s and early 2000s, and then we got out of the business. Sometimes I hear out in the field, I hear, oh no, we did that before, we're not doing that again. And so we've got to make sure people understand that the level of commitment is different, the economic advantages are different now than they were 15 years ago. I think that from a dealer standpoint, you can't have it where the dealer is saying, somebody comes in and wants that CNG vehicle, and all of our processes are slightly different, but in the end, the vehicles cost similar because that's economics with what tanks cost and things like that. But we can't have them come in and want CNG because they heard that they can save a lot of money, and the guy goes, yeah, but I got a couple of gas ones over here I'll give you a really good deal on. Okay, let's first not steer them away from it. And then also, I know that our marketing people, some of the incentives that have been out there, commercial vehicles get upfit, okay? They get bodies put on them, they get aerial booms put on them, dump truck beds, things like that. I know that we have incentives that have in the past been available for body upfits that are now also available for gaseous prepped upfits, which is different than what you guys offer, but for us, that's one of our paths we've taken. And additionally, I know our credit people have made it so that you're not going and buying a truck for X amount and then having to put an additional, okay, now I got to come up with another 10 grand to go do this. Our commercial credit groups are rolling it all into one and doing it through Ford Credit and stuff. So some of those things making that whole transaction easier, for you guys that may already take place because you're doing it under a different model, right?
Yeah.
So
But integrating those, making it as seamless as possible for the consumer.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
We have a time constraint here. We're going to go with one quick question, and we're going to ask for a short answer for those that he directs us to, and then we're going to have to take care of our next piece of business.
Thanks, Steve.
Yes.
For Dick from Ford, when will the Ford F-150 be available? And for Reginald from Chrysler, we saw the Chrysler 300 up there. Will that be available when? And do you plan on bringing any of the Fiat products to the U.S.? Thank you.
I'll go real quick on the F-150. We're working for it. The people we work with have them out running around. My problem, and it's a good one to have, is we are selling every F-150 we can build, including adding shifts to the plants to build more of them. And to bring that product in, I have to pull down both an engine plant that builds 1.5 million units a year and the assembly plants to bring all that product in. That is a tough sell because it means that we have to substitute what is typically a lower profit fleet CNG vehicle for these higher profit Raptors and Harley Davidson versions and premiums and ultimates and stuff like that. So I do not have a timing for you. Like I said, it's a good problem to have that I'm selling every vehicle that we build, but it doesn't help us with that. So it is not going to be during the 13 model year, I can tell you that.
Okay. There was a question to you.
The question was when are we going to, when we see the 300 or maybe even our 1500 or other Fiat products, we don't speak to future product plans. That's just what we keep ourselves away from. But what I portrayed to you is an ability to be very quick to market once we can identify where is that next market segment.
That seems to be the spur to us then, that with all of you, if we help you sell more product, if we get more of those orders in and show that our industry is ready to support that with the work with your dealers, the work with the customers, the communications messages, that you're prepared to bring more product to market and you can do it pretty quickly if we support you now and show that we're in business with you too as a partnership.
And that's where the multi-state MOU is a nice, wonderful, huge first step because we could look at almost a nationwide scope of what are the product desires on the part of fleets, and then we can say, here's the markets we decide to go after.
Excellent.
I think we're all saying the same thing. It's about customer requirements, meeting customer requirements, and having a certain amount of lead time to design, develop, and bring to market. It doesn't happen overnight, but we see clear signs.
We appreciate the work that you are doing to bring those products to market. We look forward to the new things that you are going to continue to develop, and I know that the industry appreciates all three of you gentlemen being here today, sharing what you have, and I know that we're all going to provide our support to make sure that they're very successful in selling these products. So again, thank you very much for being with us.